the baby at the door. It was a cold morning. Emma woke up early, as always. She lived alone in a small apartment. She made coffee and looked outside. The sky was grey and the streets were quiet. She sighed and got ready for work. When she opened the door, she heard a soft cry. She looked down and gasped. A tiny baby was lying on the ground, wrapped in a thin blanket. The baby's face was red from the cold, and its little hands were shaking. Emma's heart started to race. She bent down and saw a small note next to the baby. With trembling fingers, she picked it up and read the words, "I cannot take care of my baby. Please help." She looked around, hoping to see someone, but the hallway was empty. The baby started crying louder. Emma felt panic rising in her chest. She had never held a baby before. What should she do? Carefully, she picked up the baby and held it close to her chest. The baby stopped crying and opened its big, dark eyes. Emma felt something strange inside her heart. A warm feeling, something she had never felt before. She stepped back into her apartment and closed the door. She knew her life was about to change forever, but she didn't know if she was ready. Emma sat on the couch, holding the baby close. She could feel its tiny heartbeat against her chest. The baby had soft black hair and big brown eyes. It looked at her as if it trusted her completely. Emma took a deep breath. She had no idea how to take care of a baby. She gently rocked the baby in her arms. "What am I going to do with you?" she whispered. She looked at the note again. The handwriting was small and shaky. The mother must have been desperate. Emma wondered who she was. Where had she gone? The baby started to fuss. Emma quickly realized the baby was hungry. "Oh no," she said. She didn't have any baby formula or bottles. She had never needed them before. She looked around her kitchen. There was nothing for a baby. She grabbed her coat and carefully wrapped the baby in a warm blanket. Then she hurried outside. The cold wind made the baby shiver, so she held it closer. Emma walked quickly to the nearest grocery store. She had no idea what to buy. Inside the store, she looked around in confusion. There were so many baby products. Formula, diapers, wipes, so many choices. She felt lost. An older woman noticed her and smiled. "First-time mother?" she asked kindly. Emma hesitated, then nodded. "Something like that," she said. The woman helped her choose formula and bottles. Emma thanked her and rushed home. Back in her apartment, she carefully fed the baby. The baby drank hungrily, making small, happy sounds. Emma smiled for the first time that day. She still had no idea what she was doing, but one thing was clear: she couldn't leave this baby alone. Days passed, and Emma slowly learned how to care for the baby. She named him Leo. She liked the name. It felt strong and warm, just like the tiny boy in her arms. At first, everything was hard. Leo cried a lot, and Emma didn't always know why. She had to wake up many times at night to feed him. She learned how to change his diapers, how to hold him when he was upset, and how to make him sleep. It was not easy, but she tried her best. One evening, Emma sat on the couch with Leo sleeping in her arms. She looked at his little face and smiled. "Oh, are a strong boy," she whispered. She had never expected this to happen, but now she could not imagine life without him. But there was one thing she could not stop thinking about. Who was Leo's real mother? Would she come back one day? The note had said she could not afford to take care of him. But what if she changed her mind? Emma felt a strange fear in her heart. She decided to visit a lawyer. She needed to know what to do. At the lawyer's office, a kind man listened to her story. "If no one claims the child, you can apply to adopt him," he said. "But first, we must inform the police and child services." Emma felt nervous. What if they took Leo away? But she knew she had to do the right thing. That night she held Leo close and whispered, "No matter what happens, I will protect you." The next morning, Emma went to the police station. She told them about Leo and showed them the note. The officer listened carefully and wrote everything down. "We will try to find his mother," he said, "but if no one comes, you can keep him." Emma felt both happy and afraid. She wanted Leo to stay with her. But what if his real mother appeared? What if she wanted him back? Days turned into weeks. Emma took care of Leo like he was her own son. She fed him, played with him, and held him when he cried. He started to smile at her, and every time he did, her heart felt warm. One day she received a call from the police. "We couldn't find his mother," the officer said. "No one is looking for him." Emma felt a mix of emotions, relief, sadness, and hope. She knew what she had to do next. She went back to the lawyer and started the process to adopt Leo. The paperwork was long, and Emma had to answer many questions, but she didn't give up. "Leo belongs with me," she told herself. She knew in her heart that she was meant to be his mother. Weeks passed, and Emma waited for the final decision. Every day she felt nervous. What if the court said no? What if they took Leo away? She had done everything she could, but she knew it was not in her hands now. Leo had grown bigger. His tiny hands reached for her face, and his bright eyes followed her everywhere. He could now sit up and laugh when Emma made funny faces. Every night she held him close and sang to him. His small fingers wrapped around hers as he fell asleep. One afternoon, Emma received a letter from the court. Her hands shook as she opened it. She took a deep breath and read the words slowly. "All request for adoption has been approved." She read the words again, unable to believe it. Tears filled her eyes. She picked up Leo and hugged him tightly. "Oh, are my son now," she whispered. The baby cooed and smiled as if he understood. The next day she went to the courthouse. The judge smiled at her. "Congratulations, Emma. You are officially a mother now." Emma signed the papers, her hands steady and strong. Leo was legally hers. As she held him close, she felt a deep sense of love and happiness. She had never planned to be a mother. She had lived alone for so long, but now she couldn't imagine life without Leo. He was her son, and she would love and protect him forever. Years passed, and Leo grew into a happy and curious boy. He loved to play in the park, draw pictures, and listened to Emma's bedtime stories. He always held her hand tightly, never wanting to let go. Emma worked hard to give Leo a good life. She sent him to a good school, helped him with homework, and made sure he always had food and warm clothes. Every night she kissed his forehead and told him, "I love you." Leo would smile and say, "I love you too, Mom." One day, when Leo was 8 years old, he found an old letter in a drawer. It was the letter that had been left with him as a baby. He brought it to Emma. "Mom, what is this?" he asked. Emma took a deep breath and sat beside him. She told him the truth, gently and with love. "When you were a baby, someone left you at my door. They couldn't take care of you. But from the moment I saw you, I knew you were my son." Leo listened carefully. His big brown eyes were full of emotions. After a moment, he hugged her tightly. "You are my real Mom," he said, "and you took care of me. You love me. That's all that matters." Tears filled Emma's eyes. She hugged him back. "Yes, my love, you are my son, and you will always be." From that day, their bond became even stronger. No matter where life took them, they knew one thing for sure: family is not about blood, it is about love. And their love was forever.